What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about what a quote-unquote Season 6 is going to look like for Vanguard and Warzone 1, Butcher's final transmission, and even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because you're very close to 100,000 subscribers here on the main channel. Really appreciate it. Also drop a like and turn notifications on to stay up to date with everything going on in Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, Warzone Mobile, and any other future Call of Duty as well. Now before we get into what the next major update looks like, let's go ahead and thank the sponsor of today's video. Now tonight's video is sponsored by Atlas VPN. A big concern in the gaming world is having your data taken from you, but with Atlas VPN, you can stay under the radar when playing games or browsing the web while retaining ultra-fast connection speeds. You can also prevent websites from tracking your info and selling targeted ads to you. You also don't want private conversations to be read by the websites you use either. It blocks all malicious links, ads, and trackers, and will notify you when someone is trying to steal your data. One of the best features is being able to view content that is blocked in your region, whether that be a website or a show over on Netflix. We all know the struggle with that, right? Well, you can log in with Atlas VPN and get access to videos that aren't normally available to you by changing your IP location. You can also get discounts on products that may be cheaper in other regions too. Right now, Atlas VPN is running a huge discount. It means you can get a 3-year subscription for just $1.99 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Timer's running out though, so get your deal by clicking on the link in this video's description or the pinned comment, and thank you to Atlas VPN for sponsoring tonight's video. Now back to the video. I'm sure a couple of weeks ago you guys probably saw Butcher's final transmission, but here's the thing, it was only posted over on Twitter and is not on the Call of Duty YouTube channel, which has me thinking that maybe there's something else that's going to be released in cinematic form that will be on the Call of Duty YouTube channel to really close off Vanguard's life cycle. Because this cutscene really doesn't tell us much. It's just narration with some sad music. Obviously, Butcher says he spent years on the island, so it is a bit interesting that Caldera was essentially the only place that was focused on during the post-launch, at least after Season 2, whereas the first 2 seasons were going in a bit of a different direction with the narrative, and that direction is obvious. It was a pretty major crossover between Black Ops and Vanguard, Butcher narrating a story to Mason and his crew about the missions he went on with Task Force Vanguard, with figuring out wherever the final Nazi bunkers were at. They were at Caldera in Season 1, it made sense. Season 2, they were in the Alps, but then by Season 3, we're back in Caldera, and that's where things just go in a whole different direction. Now, Butcher does say in this transmission that the journey isn't over yet. He mentions how he lost lots of friends, people that he loved got lost. I mean, I guess that's referring to Task Force Vanguard. I guess that's their fate. They just die in Caldera, but in a weird way, right? Because we don't know what happens to Polina, but for some reason, Arthur had his own crew and he was fighting Butcher and his crew over Nazi gold. I'm like, what? So the narrative was all over the place after they kind of strayed away from the whole Black Ops arc that got beautifully set up and could have went in so many different directions. But maybe there is something else they'll release, hopefully to close that arc, where Butcher was narrating to Mason's crew. I mean, at this point, Butcher has gone insane and Woods probably shot him already. So I don't know what happened with the narrative, but I could just assume that the narrative team that set up Season 1 and 2 for Vanguard are no longer at Sledgehammer. And once they left, they said, all right, well, what can we do for the last couple of seasons? Well, we're going to scrap Season 6, but we're also going to just take the story in a very non-canon direction where it's just a bunch of celebrity crossovers. Godzilla, Terminator, Umbrella Academy, whatever, all these villains from different COD games. It turned into COD Mobile, so to speak. So I guess that's it. That's where we leave off at. I'll keep you guys posted if Butcher continues to have any more dementia and tells more stories to us in a future cutscene. I'll let you guys know. But if you're like, wait, what's going on with a possible Season 6? Isn't there just not gonna be one? Well, that's right. I mean, data miners found no references to a Season 6. Charlie Intel even confirmed, I guess they got told by Activision, that Season 5 is the last season for Vanguard and Warzone 1. But there is something that'll still happen in between Season 5 ending and then Season 1 starting for Modern Warfare 2. So you guys probably noticed there's a post-season tab now in MW19, Cold War, and Vanguard, which does mean that the integration isn't over yet. Something is still going to happen before Modern Warfare 2 Season 1 begins. So we have leakers out there claiming that there's going to be a post-season system in Vanguard and Warzone 1 just after the current Season 5 ends. The levels are going to be reset again for the very last time, giving us 4 last Shadow Company themed prestiges and another set of post-season mastery cards. So it'll kind of be like a Season 6, but without a battle pass, without new maps, without new weapons, but there will still be a post-season type of leveling system that gets incorporated where it just allows you to go up 4 more prestiges and then that'll be it. You can cap your rank off. Now, honestly, I think the best approach once Season 1 begins for Modern Warfare 2, just have MW19 go back to what the ranking was before Cold War got integrated, and have Cold War go back to the ranking system before Vanguard got integrated. So whatever you left off at with Season 6 of those games, return back to that level, and then maybe go to level 1000 from there, then you could be capped off. Or there could just be no level. I don't know how that would work, but look, I think it's really cool to have cross progression with Battle Pass leveling. I just don't think the ranks is something that I was too fond of because, again, maybe you booted up Cold War during Season 2 of Vanguard and you notice, hey, my rank from Cold War is gone. It's accounting for a game that I don't even own. I think a lot of people out there felt that way, and it was frustrating for those out there that don't play all CODs but only wanted to focus on one, whether it's MW, Cold War, or Vanguard. It might have been annoying for people out there to see games that they don't plan on buying. But I love the idea of 4 last Shadow Company type of theme prestiges. I think that's brilliant. I think it's a great segue into COD 2.0, so I'm all for that. But I guess the big question for everybody is what happens after that post-season ends? Do you just get left off at that rank? Can you just level up forever at that point? I mean, I really wonder what's going to happen, but as a huge reminder, Modern Warfare 2 is a fresh start going in a new direction. It'll be integrated with Warzone 2, of course, and Warzone Mobile for leveling, for Battle Pass progression, all of that, but it will not account for anything you did in Vanguard, Cold War, or MW19. Now, I also think the approach here is really interesting because, like I talked about in a previous video, if they rename the Warzone 1 app to just Warzone Caldera, what does that tell you? Rebirth and Fortunes are both going away for a number of reasons, maybe. They want to make sure that if you want to go back and play Warzone 1 at any time, it's only Caldera because it's a map they're very proud of, even though a lot of people in the community don't like it that much. They also want to make sure that people out there aren't saying, oh my god, Warzone 2 is too different, Al Mazrah is too big, I want to play Resurgence, and they just go back to Rebirth or Fortunes. They're making sure they drive as many people as possible to COD 2.0, and by doing that might also mean that they kind of cut off any type of leveling that you can do in MW19, Cold War, or Vanguard to ensure that you're only focused on the newer Call of Duty releases. So it's an interesting approach, but I wonder how you guys feel about them really changing up the way leveling is going to work for the last 3 games. Now, time of recording this, no haunting event has been announced, not even leaked, and I think at this point in the year, data miners would have already found references or pictures or gameplay of a Halloween-themed event for Vanguard and Warzone 1. Like I've said on previous streams and previous videos, if there was going to be a haunting event this year, not only would it have probably been announced by now, or probably would have even started, but I do think it would have just been something for Warzone, where there's an LTM added in, there's bundles that you can buy that you might be able to use in Vanguard, but I wouldn't have expected any type of Halloween-themed multiplayer maps, or characters, or experiences in zombies. I think it would have just been like the previous seasons, where when the new crossover happens, it's just really for Warzone. The most you could do in Vanguard is just use the cosmetic you might have bought from that respective bundle. And I think that just shows you where Activision's thinking was over the past year. I mean, you look at MW19 and Cold War, whenever there was a new event added or a crossover of sorts, you were able to play any mode that you wanted to experience that event in a different way. I mean, Cold War took it even further than that, where when new challenges got added, you could do some in Warzone, do some in Zombies, do some in multiplayer. You're able to play anything you want to unlock something, but if you want to get all the unlocks, you gotta play all the modes. Vanguard was the opposite of that, where you couldn't even play Vanguard for nearly any of the events, only the Christmas one and then the Valentine's one. After that, nothing else was added to Vanguard in terms of events. You can only do some of the unlocks in Warzone, which I guess is fair because Warzone's free, but what about the game you paid for? So that just tells you that they gave up on Vanguard after maybe Season 2 at most, and that's it. So with that, with no Season 6 either, I'm not surprised at all there isn't a Halloween event this year, even though there was a huge opportunity to bring back Michael Myers for the first time since COD Ghost. Would have been perfect to line up with the release of Halloween Ends, which is also coming out this week. Now, if you guys are like, well, what if they do a haunting event for Modern Warfare 2? I just don't see them doing that. I mean, the game comes out on the 28th, Halloween's a couple days later. I mean, sure, they can add a Halloween bundle to MW2, but I wouldn't really expect a new COD to release alongside a crossover. I feel like crossovers are really meant to just juice up the post-launch season, but they might change things up this year and say, you know what, here is a new haunting event for a new COD that just came out a couple of days ago. Maybe they'll do that, but at the very least, we still have a Halloween-themed event over in COD Mobile, the return of zombies, a bunch of skins coming out, so if you guys play COD Mobile, at least there's something there for you in terms of Halloween. But to remind you, Cold War added back the haunting event. It's a bit different this time around, where the pumpkins are nerfed and round-based. We have the Outbreak LTM, you can use the pumpkins in Onslaught. They brought back the Donnie Darko bundle for a limited time as well, which is great. Not sure about Ghostface, so they did something there. I don't know about MW19, but at least the last COD got some Halloween treatment this time around. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the upcoming post-season update that we're going to get without a Battle Pass? How are you feeling about no haunting event this year and everything else we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.